Welcome to this episode of
Here we go, Fregeau!
Starring Maria Robertson and Dr. Paul Fregeau.
Hello and welcome to the 7th episode of the DPS podcast, Here we go, Fregeau. I'm Maria Robertson, Director of Community Engagement, and joining me is Superintendent of Decatur Public Schools, Dr. Paul Fregeau. This week's podcast, we'll be talking about DPS meal delivery services. There's been a lot of questions and concerns from parents regarding meal deliveries, and we appreciate everyone's patience as we work to find the answers and develop targeted notifications for when meals arrive at our family's door.
Yes, thanks, Maria. Hopefully our listeners will find this helpful information moving forward as we strive to do better each day in the area of food delivery.
That's right. And just another friendly reminder, folks, we are social distancing and everyone in the room does have a mask on, so if we sound muffled again.
Very long wires to the mics to give us proper social distancing.
That's right. So let's get started. Dr. Fregeau, how are parents signed up for the meal delivery services?
All you have to do to be signed up for meal delivery is register with the district. We now have 91% of our students registered.
Yay!
So as long as you register properly and provide us the correct information, you'll get food delivered to your door.
That's awesome. So what if I'm a parent, though, that doesn't need the meals and I want to opt out of that delivery?
There's a page in Skyward where you can opt out. And you have to opt out for each student. If you have multiple kids in the district, you have to click on the information for each student. It's a federal guideline, and we have to comply with that because it's a federally subsidized program. So make sure if you want to opt out, you opt out for each of your kids.
And those are located in Skyward under custom forms, and I believe it's even labeled meal opt out. So cool. So is there a new system being put in place for notifying parents when meals could be arriving at the door?
Yes, so we are delivering meals right now to over 6,000 kids, which is 60,000 meals, because we're delivering 10 meals a week. So please be patient. We're working on a way, once everybody's registered and we've honed our delivery system, our plan is to call families the night before they get their delivery. But please be patient and give us a little bit of grace, but we will get there.
Perfect. Are there ways that a parent can select what day works best for the meal delivery? I know that currently we're on Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays of each week. Is there a way that they can pick?
Currently, no. Maybe down the road, but I can't promise that because it's such a massive undertaking. Because we sequence them in a way that makes sense. For example, today when I was visiting Oak Grove, there's a van going down Division Street making the deliveries. If one of those families on Division Street would say, "Well, we'd really like it on Wednesday," then we have to reroute all the other families as far as getting the meals to them. So that's a very difficult undertaking.
Yeah. And plus with people opting out, I mean, the numbers change, and
The
so
numbers
it's not
change
always
and the delivery.
same week to week.
So we're hoping the notification the night before will address many of those issues.
I'm sure.
And families can arrange accordingly. But like I said, it's a massive logistical undertaking.
Right. A lot of parents, here's an unhappy topic, a lot of our parents we are seeing are reporting that delivered meals have mold or possibly even leaks. Is the district doing anything to fix this problem?
Yes, well, first of all, we want to apologize to any family who received that type of food in the delivery. Like I said, we're delivering 60,000 meals, and if one of those is tainted, that's not acceptable, and we're striving to do better in that area. So what we determined is one delivery site was having issues initially with pears and refried beans. So we had the health department come out, analyze our processes. They made a couple suggestions, and we basically have moved, first of all, refried beans out of the rotation. And instead of refrigerating the fruit, it would be better to freeze it, and that would enable it to be more fresh when it gets delivered to the door and should mitigate the mold issues.
Gotcha.
And now we're having issues of some of the bread, and we're looking at a different supplier for that bread to make it to mitigate those opportunities for mold to appear on the bread. So those are the ones we're aware of, and we have a plan to address, and it should be.
All right. And I do know if any parents are concerned about the state of their meals that were delivered, to call their school. We do have a log of concerns and issues.
Yes, we're tracking those so we can put a targeted plan to address common issues that occur.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's important that you do communicate with us so we can address them.
That's right. Do you know if Airmark leaves meals on doorsteps regardless whether or not the family is home, and what are they doing when they arrive?
We are now having them knock on the door or ring the bell if they're able. If there's a doorbell, ring the door or knock on the door, and then they do leave the meals. Yes.
Okay.
Again, we're wanting to make it as close to the home, the home as possible, and it's been a challenge. And I know some families are confused, but we feel it best to make sure it gets to the exact home where the kid lives.
Right. And hopefully down the road, our targeted phone calls the day
We'll
prior
mitigate
will
some
help.
of that because
Yeah.
we have to verify to our federal government that we have to report to them that it was delivered to
Point
that
of
student's
service.
home. There's a certain, it's called point of service,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a certain student who received the meal. So it's not like something we can leave in a general area. Now, to avoid confusion, those rules were waived last spring and over the summer so we could do the grab and go. So families need to
That's good to
understand
know. Mhm.
the grab and go, they waived all those accountability rules that allowed us to do that method. They did not waive those rules. The USDA did not waive those rules this fall, and so you have to go back to the original point of service and account for each kid that gets the meal to get
Understood.
reimbursed.
Okay. Got it. That makes sense. Because we did get a lot of families wanting to know why couldn't we do the grab and go, but because the provisions that were in place for spring are not what we have to work with this school year.
Right, and also the USDA has guidelines that we cannot feed pre-K kids because we've got questions about that. I participated in a meeting with the state superintendent Wednesday, and myself and 2 other districts brought that issue up to the state superintendent, and we gained information that the state has applied to the USDA for a waiver
Oh, wow.
that would allow us to get meals for pre-K kids as part of the federal meals program. So hopefully we'll get some news from USDA that allows that. So that caused some confusion too, but there's certain rules with these meals that we have to follow.
Well, that's good to know that we're not the only district that's having that issue, and that we are, wanting to take care of the
Yeah, there
littlest
were
ones.
35 districts in this call, and mainly from the central region, and all agreed. 3 of us brought it up, but all agreed that that would be helpful because you deliver meals to a home, and the 3-year-old's going to your school, and they can't get a meal, but the 2nd grader can, and it's a difficult situation.
Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Fregeau. That's pretty amazing being an advocate for our littlest ones in the district. Our security employees are helping Airmark during these meal deliveries. Why are they doing that?
Well, it's all hands on deck right now, as
Yeah.
I've said numerous times. We have TAs helping with attendance. We have TAs helping with contacting families to get their kids engaged. Our security officers are helping with those type of things as well, but during these 3 days of meal delivery, they're helping because it's a labor-intensive project, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
need a lot of people. There's an Airmark worker and a security person in every van because they're delivering to both sides of the street
Right.
as they go through neighborhoods.
That's pretty great, though, that at least they are out there visiting with the families, too, because
Yes.
a lot of our security guards have great relationships
They know
with
the
our
kids,
students.
and it's a very positive interaction for them.
Yeah. There have been many reports of parents who opted out of meals deliveries, yet they've received meals. And while parents who did not opt out are not receiving meals, could you explain the possible causes for these situations?
Well, first of all, we had to get clearance from the USDA that families could opt out. Okay, so we had to do that first. And then as we're developing this plan, we get clearance from them to do that, and then we have to figure out a way to document that. So a form was created and put online, and there's been some glitches in how the form feeds information to our student information system. And so we're working through that. But apparently when parents were clicking I opt out, there was another place they had to click to send the actual information.
I gotcha.
And so it created numerous families were getting food that had opted out, and they were confused of what's going on. But I believe we've cleaned up that data, and we pull it the week before as well. So if you hadn't opted out until after Monday of the week before, your name was still on the list. So
it's crazy how much manual and intensive logistics that go behind the scenes of pulling this off, because we have to pull the information from Skyward, throw it into our routing system, and then Aramark needs to do something with that data as well. So it's working within the systems that we have available to us.
And then re-enter all that each of those kids got those meals every day.
And it's not a system that we're built to do.
Because normally with NutriKid's system, we just scan their ID or enter their number, and it loads as they're walking through the lunch line at school. But now we don't do that. It's hand delivered to each individual kid's building.
Oh, and just to clarify, parents who do not receive meals on Wednesday should receive their meals on either Thursday or Friday. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It's over a 3-day, and hopefully, as we clean up, the opt-outs and everybody's registered, it'll become a consistent day.
Okay. And then what are families receiving on their meal delivery? Are they getting meals for that day?
They get 5 breakfasts and 5 lunches.
For the whole entire week?
Yes.
Okay. For 5 days?
For 5 days.
Gotcha. Can you explain why the district decided this schedule was the most efficient way for us to deliver the meals?
Well, the product's delivered on Tuesday and Thursday.
Oh, okay.
So it's part of the issue is the supply chain.
Yeah.
And we don't want to pack food for Monday that's been there since Thursday, right? So get food on Tuesday, get things loaded for Wednesday and part of Thursday, get the food in Thursday, finish Thursday, and pack for Friday. So that's the primary reason is when the food is delivered. So that is why we do that the way we do.
Anything else on the topic of meal delivery that you want our listening audience to
hear? Yes,
I've
seen some questions on social media as why the students don't have more chocolate milk and things like that. And I know they love their chocolate milk in those little pints, half pitons or whatever they are. In order to efficiently do this, we're delivering half gallons of milk and a couple chocolate milks. So that's to try to pack that many more items handled and that many more opportunities to have a count go wrong or something like that. So that's why they're getting the half gallon instead of all the little nice chocolate milks that they love so much. So hopefully that answers that question, because we've seen that. I've seen that several times on social media. Yeah.
Well, I know you're encouraging parents just to be patient with us. We're fine tweaking every week, getting better.
Getting better every week. Is it perfect? No. Again, my mantra, I said since July, is patience, flexibility, and grace. And our folks have been awesome. The parents have been awesome. Even when we mess up, they said, we understand, we appreciate. We just wanted to make sure you knew.
Yeah.
And so that's appreciated. I feel like our community's been very patient and very flexible and given us a strong sense of grace through this.
That's wonderful. Well, that concludes this episode of Here We Go, Fregeau. Thank you, Dr. Fregeau, for taking time out to answer questions for the community. And if anyone listening has ideas or topics for a future podcast with Dr. Fregeau, please leave a comment or a private message to our Facebook page. And as always, we thank you for listening.